Earlier today, Hoover Police detectives obtained warrants for the arrest of Carlee Russell through the Hoover Municipal Court for her actions related to faking her kidnapping and subsequently making false statements to detectives as they investigated this case. Her decisions that night created panic and alarm for the citizens of our city and even across the nation as the concern grew that a kidnapper was on the loose using a small child as bait. Numerous law enforcement agencies, both local and federal, began working tirelessly not only to bring Carlee home to her family, but locate a kidnapper that we know now never existed. Many private citizens volunteered their time and energy into looking for a potential kidnapping victim that we know now was never in any danger. This story opened wounds for families whose loved ones really were victims of kidnappings, some of which even helped organize searches in hopes they could find Carlee's alive so her family would not experience the pain and suffering that they felt when their loved ones never returned home. As we know, actions can have consequences, and that's why we're here today. This afternoon, Carlee Russell, with the assistance of her attorney, turned herself into the Hoover City Jail, where she was arrested for the following charges: false reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor, $1,000 bond; falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond. Each of these charges carry up to a year in jail and potential fine of $6,000 upon conviction. Ms. Russell was released from jail after posting bond. We initially presented this case to District Attorney Lanice Washington, who agreed to handle prosecution through district court. After consulting with the Circuit Court of Jefferson County Bessemer Division, the case was referred back to municipal court for charging because the only applicable charges were misdemeanors. Judging from the amount of phone calls and emails that we've received from people all over the country, I know many are shocked and appalled that Ms. Russell is only being charged with 2 misdemeanors, despite all the panic and disruption her actions caused. Let me assure you, I too share the same frustration, but existing laws only allow the charges that were filed to be filed. I can tell you that I will be contacting our state legislatures on behalf of law enforcement in Montgomery and asking them to look at this law applied to these facts and urge them to add an enhancement to current legislation when somebody falsely reports kidnapping or another violent crime. Because of the attention this case has garnered, we've requested Attorney General Steve Marshall's office adopt this case, and they've agreed to do so. The Hoover Police Department wants to thank everyone that assisted us from the beginning and continues to assist us in this case as we work its way through the criminal justice system. Joining me at the podium today is State of Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall.
Thank you, Chief. Let me begin by commending Hoover Police Department Chief Durgis for his leadership in this investigation. Obviously, this captured many's attention as a result of not only the allegations themselves, but also the concern about a possible victim in being able to return her home. The work that was done by the Hoover Police Department was monumental in its lift, and the results of that work you are seeing come to fruition today with the charges that have been levied. I also want to commend the many other men and women of both state and federal law enforcement for their work collaboratively with the Hoover Police Department in assisting in this investigation. Chief, appreciate the opportunity to be able to partner with you in this prosecution. We will dedicate a team to be able to help the city of Hoover in handling these 2 individual charges and look forward to bringing this case to fruition. One thing I would add is that we don't see this as a victimless crime. There are significant hours spent, resources expended as a result of this investigation. And not only that, but the many men and women who are civilians that wore those yellow vests on a hot afternoon and evening looking for someone they thought was abducted, trying to be of assistance. We intend to fully prosecute this case and look forward to working with the Hoover Police Department moving forward. We also would tell you that we will continue to monitor this investigation to determine whether or not there are any additional charges that need to be brought, and we'll evaluate those as the facts are presented.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll open the floor to questions. If you'll please raise your hand and identify yourself and your affiliation when I call you.
David Lamb, CBS 42. This question for Mr. Attorney General. What is it about this case that made it rise to the level to where it was a case that you wanted to take on?
We handle cases across the state. We have jurisdiction throughout for both misdemeanors and felonies. And when Chief Burgess asked for our assistance, we were more than happy to be able to assist.
Is it common for you all to be involved in misdemeanors like a case like this?
It's not uncommon.
Right here.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610, 100.1 FM, Summit Media. Chief, this question is for you.
Yes.
What time was Carlee arrested today with her attorney, and has she made bail?
She has. She was processed in our facility within the past hour.
Do you expect any charges to be forthcoming with her parents, or is this just all on Carlee at this point?
At this point, and again, I think anything is, all as the Attorney General said, their team will also be searching through our files, and we'll find out what they say.
Carol.
Carol Robinson with AL.com. Have you, since we spoke last in the press conference, been able to retrace where she was during the 49 hours she was missing, and have you determined if she was with anyone else during that time?
We have not found anything out on either one of your two questions.
Right here.
Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 News. Has there been any decision about a possible civil suit against Carlee and or her family? Also, what impact would this have on the police department filing a suit have on the criminal case as well?
Yeah, we have not discussed that. Of course, we talked about the hours of overtime and all the significant resources that we used. And we'll certainly be talking to the Attorney General's office about possibly getting some of those funds returned to us.
Lisa Crane, WBTN 13. In an earlier press conference, she outlined some items she had taken from her employer. Any potential theft charges for that?
Those would have taken place in another jurisdiction, so we would not have charges ourselves.
Carlee Robinson, WBRC. Chief, do you mind repeating those charges and fines one more time for us?
Sure. False reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor with $1,000 bond. Falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond.
So there you have it. Carlee Russell is facing jail time and fines, as well as they are looking into her parents to see if they were accomplices so that they could possibly hold them accountable with fines as well as jail time. With all that has been discussed surrounding this situation, I knew that moving forward, when this was proven to be a hoax, Black women who are victims of kidnapping, domestic violence, we would be seen through the lens of the Carlee Russells and Jussie Smolletts versus the multitude of women who have legitimately gone missing and never been found. So I didn't need to hold Carlee Russell accountable because I know in the end, all Black women would be held accountable for Carlee Russell. With all that said, there was a message that was left under one of my Carlee Russell posts that read, I knew this was a hoax to begin with. However, I was concerned and thought it was off that her story was receiving so much worldwide attention, almost as if they were trying to take our attention away from other events. And sure enough, a week and a half later, after finding out that this was a hoax, I come to learn that in a nearby neighboring state, 23-year-old Jake Wallin was shot after being ambushed by a Syrian immigrant by the name of Mohamad Barakat, who was 37. He had been here since 2012, and come to find out, the government had not did as good of a job of making sure that the immigrants we were letting in had gone through the necessary checks to make sure that they weren't a threat. And this guy had so much arsenal on him, and he planned that day, and he Google searched where he could go to as far as events and possibly encounter a large amount of people. And that day he planned to go to North Dakota's fair, in which he was planning to unalive many people. Luckily, there were several cops in the area, and they were able to ultimately stop him. But sadly, that was not before he took Officer Wayland's life. So I do want to pay my respects to his family. Looking through his social media accounts, it looks like he was an overall good dude. And it's sad to see somebody who was just beginning to live their life be taken so soon. And I just want to offer my condolences to his family in regards to the Carlee Russell situation. She brought this on herself, and I don't feel anything as far as remorse for her or even her family, because they haven't even shown compassionate towards the people who supported them during her fake hoax. So it is what it is. Rest in peace, Jake Wallin. And with Carlee Russell, it is what it is.